It's interesting when we try to communicate with certain kinds of beings because these beings are never interested in repeating what they did before. No, they're interested in getting out of whatever they got themselves into and then forgetting who helped them get out of their problem area. And they always say, well, it's part of your interest to help me. And usually we go along with it. And even when we say, don't go out of bounds again, they immediately go for the boundary zone and right over the rope and into the area that's dangerous. If you had a mountain climber kind of person who was like this, who had been rescued by search and rescue multiple times, and as soon as they got off the mountain, they went right back up to the dangerous area and got into trouble, would you start telling the people at search and rescue, don't bother rescuing this person? This person is causing danger to you. Wouldn't you just tell the search and rescue people who it was and say, sorry, crying wolf or whatever, but this one is not worth rescuing. It's not worth risking your lives for to go and peel this person off a sheer cliff where they went immediately after the last time you rescued them. Are they? Yes, they're crazy. Do they belong in the mental home? Well, the problem with this particular one that I'm talking about is they're protected. It means they're not able to really come and be in a institution like a psychiatric hospital. They're not hanging on the side of a cliff. They're a kind of being that's not a human being, but a kind of being that likes to play the game of, here I am, I'm a fairy kind of being, and talk to you. Not visibly talking to you, but, being there all the time. And this kind of being, it also has agreements. And the agreements are with other kinds of beings. And the basic agreement is don't hurt people. And when this kind of being hurts humans, all the agreements are looked at. And then they look to see where can we put this thing so it can't hurt anyone. And the simple problem is they don't have a prison for it. They don't know what to do with it. Why did they make agreements if they couldn't enforce them in the first place? They mostly say it was easier than trying to figure out what to do with something in consciousness. They don't admit to creating this thing. They say they just found it, and it's always been a nasty thing. They say, if we were able to protect you from this thing, well, we would, but we can't because we can't really protect ourselves from this thing. This thing is in consciousness. And if it's in consciousness, then it is consciousness. It's becoming very difficult to live with these kind of things that are acting through consciousness, but they don't have any high consciousness. All they have is just themselves to throw at you. And themselves are pretty much, they should never have been created in the first place. but they were, and we don't know who created them, to go to them and say, your creation is a bastard thing and it needs to be removed and it's your job. We want to go a million miles away to some other place and ask someone far, far away, did you create this thing? Because it's bugging us and it's your creation. You're responsible for your own creations and you created this monstrosity and it's bothering us. When are you going to come and scrape this thing off of wherever it is and get rid of it? We keep calling for the creators of this nightmare and they don't come. As humans, we're told that we can create things with our minds, but it's not true. Humans are given certain things by hidden behind the curtain kind of beings. And people say, oh, I came up with it, I thought it up. It's my idea. No, it is something that was specifically given to you by beings who can create thoughts. Why is it that humans aren't given the ability to think their own thoughts? Because they're not. It means I don't have an answer. And the ones that do create thought forms, they do lie and say humans create all kinds of things from the ideas that they get. That's true, but the ideas themselves, humans didn't create. Where they gods or titans, oversouls, monads. Was it Jesus? Was it Buddha? Was it Atlantis or Lemuria? Were they extraterrestrials? Are they on the far side of the moon? Are they on Saturn or Saturn's rings? Are they at Proxima Centauri? Or are they right here on the end of my nose? The answer is I can't figure it out, which means they're not telling me. But they are making my skin itch. That is, the ones that are harassing me, harassing me, harassing me. It must be some kind of a mixed up place where unseen things can come after you. It's mostly, I'm not your kind of being that makes up thoughts. Who created planet Earth? Some people, very religious, say God did. But, let's just say for a moment, well, it wasn't God, it was some other kind of being who had magical abilities, the abilities to create most likely an illusionary kind of world, but able to take something that we are and put us in this thing and make us not so much food for them, but maybe pets for them. Are we really the same as the ones that created Earth? Or were we put here to be pets for the ones who watch us? It's not easy to continually tell you the same story all the time, but it is the same story every day here. It's not the Twilight Zone, it's us trapped in, some people call it the Matrix. Some people call it Maya, M-A-Y-A. What is it really? It's nothing at all. It's simply a place that we're held against our wills, where we're forced to act like puppets. Who are the puppet makers and the puppeteers? It's not available for us to talk about. Just know that I can look at myself in the screen of my smartphone and I can see the strings that move my arm up and down. Make mine go like this. Strings. If I'm the puppet, there must be a puppet master. And the agenda is to keep us puppets forever. That's the end of your story for boys and girls today. I'm Harry Weaver for the Twilight Zone.